In 480 BC, a Persian army of staggering size marched toward Greece. Some ancient sources claimed over 1,000,000 men. Modern historians put the real number closer to 200,000, still one of the largest invasion forces the ancient world had ever seen. Standing in their way, a narrow strip of land, no wider than a country road, and fewer than 7,000 Greek soldiers. This is the story of how a handful of men turned a mountain pass into a legend. To understand Thermopylae, you have to understand the man behind the invasion, Xerxes I, king of Persia. His father, Darius, had already tried to conquer Greece once and failed, humiliated at the Battle of Marathon 10 years earlier. Xerxes wasn't going to make the same mistake. He spent years preparing. He built a bridge of boats across the Hellespont to march his army from Asia into Europe. He dug a canal through a peninsula so his navy wouldn't have to risk the open sea. This wasn't just an invasion, it was a statement. No force on earth could stop him. Meanwhile, Greece was nothing close to united. It wasn't even a single country. It was dozens of independent city-states that frequently fought each other. Athens and Sparta, the two strongest, were often rivals, not allies. But faced with annihilation, a coalition of Greek states made a decision. They would try to stop Xerxes at a choke point, a place where Persia's massive numbers wouldn't matter.
That place was Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, a narrow pass between steep mountains and the sea, so tight that in some sections only a handful of men could fight side by side. Here's something most people get wrong. It wasn't just 300 Spartans against the Persian Empire. The Greek force numbered somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 men. Spartans, yes, but also soldiers from Thespiae, Thebes, Corinth, and other city-states. The Spartans were led by King Leonidas I. In Spartan society, every male citizen trained for war from childhood. Their discipline, their formation, the phalanx, a wall of overlapping shields and spears, made them arguably the most feared infantry in the Greek world. The phalanx wasn't about individual heroics, it was about the line holding. Each man's shield protected not just himself, but the soldier beside him. Break formation, and the whole line could collapse. Leonidas chose Thermopylae deliberately. In open ground, Persia's cavalry and sheer numbers would crush the Greeks easily. But in a pass this narrow, numbers stopped mattering. It became a bottleneck, and bottlenecks favor the defender. When the Persian army arrived, Xerxes reportedly waited 4 days, expecting the Greeks to flee at the sight of his forces. They didn't. When the fighting began, it went badly for Persia. Wave after wave of soldiers attacked the pass, and wave after wave was pushed back. The Greek phalanx, fighting in tight formation in a space too narrow to be outflanked, held the line. Xerxes sent in his elite imperial guard, the Immortals, his best troops. They fared no better than the regular soldiers had. For 2 days, the most powerful army in the world could not break through 7,000 men in a mountain pass. A local man named Ephialtes knew of a hidden goat path that wound through the mountains, bypassing Thermopylae entirely. Whether for money, fear, or personal gain, he led a Persian detachment under the cover of darkness. The path was guarded by a separate group of Greek soldiers, but they were caught off guard and overwhelmed. By dawn, the Persians had outflanked the entire Greek position. Leonidas now faced an impossible choice. His army was about to be surrounded.
The pass could no longer hold.
So he made a decision that would echo through history. He ordered most of the Greek army to retreat and survive, preserving the soldiers for the war that was still to come. But he, along with his 300 Spartans and a small number of other soldiers who chose to stay, would remain. They would not be holding the pass to win anymore. They would be holding it to buy time. On the third day, surrounded on both sides, the remaining Greeks fought not for victory, but to delay the Persian advance as long as possible. Every hour bought time for the rest of Greece to prepare. Ancient accounts describe a brutal, desperate final stand. When their spears broke, they fought with swords. When their swords broke, accounts say they fought with their bare hands and teeth. Leonidas himself was killed in the fighting, and a fierce struggle reportedly broke out over his body. By the end, every Greek who remained at the pass was dead. In purely military terms, Thermopylae was a Persian victory. The pass fell. Xerxes' army marched on into Greece.
But that's not how the story was remembered. News of the stand at Thermopylae spread across Greece, not as a defeat, but as proof that Persia could be fought, and that free men would die rather than submit. It bought the Greek states crucial time to organize their navy and army. Months later, the Greeks would destroy the Persian fleet at Salamis, and the following year defeat Persia's army on land at Plataea. The invasion that once seemed unstoppable was broken. Historians still debate how much Thermopylae actually changed the war militarily, but its impact on morale and on the idea that small, determined forces could defy an empire shaped how Western civilization would tell stories about courage for the next 2,500 years. The 300 didn't win the battle, but in a way, they won something else entirely.